They don't play correct Siege. They play what they like to do, and that could go up against, play up against well against a team like LiViD.
Yeah, you said it before. It's kind of like that chaos, that what you the unreadable. It's like they don't know how you play. You know, how can you predict it? And Villa, though, Villa is a bit of a map that can be kind of red at times, but there's definitely a lot of gaps that can be difficult or different from what you expect from a game. Maybe a team like Outlast. Though hard to say. The first ban is Ace. One of those Heartbreach is off the board, and well, Thatcher being banned on Nexus, no surprise.
No surprise at all. If you're going for the standard Villa ban phase, either Ace or Hibana and then a Thatcher. That's about as standard as you can get for an attacking ban phase if you're not factoring in any potential counters. For defensive ban, I imagine we'll see Valkyrie as the first one up. Yep, she's gone immediately. She might not have been banned first, but she would have definitely been banned second at that point. She's a common ban on Villa, especially against a team, or really any team in general. Actually, I was going to say against a team like LiViD, but still, you just don't want Valkyrie on the board. For the final one, probably going to see some standard, maybe a Goyo, maybe a Mira, but I don't think we're getting anything too crazy. Yep.
No.
Yeah.
Same as per usual, nothing too crazy coming out, and LiViD have the defense first, though, and this is where maybe on the attack, Outlast can show us a little bit of that chaos, a little bit of the unreadability, and they can, or unpredictability, and they can show LiViD that they're not playing of the similar village you expect, and they can throw them off their game. But same point, we call it a card map for a reason. You know, Connor kind of hinted at, you know, NSG being where we saw a lot of good plays from LiViD, though. Will that transfer to CL, though?
So, Benny, who banned the Mira?
It was LiViD, actually.
It was LiViD. They banned their own Mira. That's it. That's interesting. Maybe he has something different in store. Maybe all of that VOD review that maybe Outlast did doesn't really matter anymore. I mean, plus, especially with how LiViD looked recently, they're not exactly Mira crutches anymore. But either way, banning that Mira, as you said, indicates that they might be taking this a little bit differently, and they'll start things out a little bit differently. Moving down to the first floor, the side of kitchen and dining, instead of going to either Aviator Games or Trophy Statuary to start things out. But it's still nothing all too different from what we've seen on this site before. You have the pulse down below. You have people extending up top, and the alibi actually isn't even all that uncommon. I believe we saw Orgulus and Gotcha specifically run alibi on Villa on this site, but other teams have done it as well. So for LiViD, they're not getting too crazy with anything just yet, but one of the big problems they had early on was still struggling to play coordinated as a team within the strats they've designated. Since they're keeping it simple, and especially with how they've looked recently, imagine they could still perform well effectively unless Outlast get wild.
I will see if that coordination is still intact for Outlast, because we still... I may have voted for Outlast, but I still have my doubts sometimes about that. They're still the newest team to this stage, and well, Jules gonna be the first one to open up that Astro window. Will cause some alarm to Omega. Omega now backing off it and sitting in Astro, watching that window, expects someone to swing it, and it looks like it seems to be Outlast are planning to, you know, push this Rome game, and Karn below will be the man of the hour to give all the info to his team on this clear, and those C4s from below will be a big thing. Though there's only, you know, there's 3 C4s, both with Xeno and Rexv and Karn, ready to blow up anybody pushing into this Rome game on the side of LiViD. Let's see how it happens, and if they can actually evade these C4s or what.
That is the issue. If LiViD like to run pre-play C4s, this would be a little bit easier, but since it's a much more active and fluid C4 placement by LiViD, it's going to be difficult to counter. They will move up, and the first C4 will fly out, but it's not a vertical. It's actually a horizontal, tossed over the wall. Doesn't find anything. It's wasted, and Nate did sail on over just a little bit before that, and Panic just sails on in. Genesis 2! Both find kills, and the C4 finds damage onto 2 players of Outlast. Omega's also able to take down Nomad on the retreat back downstairs, but it's still Outlast to come away the victor when it comes to clearing out that realm.
Well, the Rome game, still a great clear from the side of Outlast, but still, Karn's alive, so this is intel he can give. There's no C4 available, but he still can see if he can figure out what this game plan from Outlast is, and if they can position themselves correctly to stop this push. It seems to be a library push, or not library, laundry push so far. The Hibana of Jules opening up that laundry wall to push in, and there's still great intel because of the Jackal on the side of Outlast, so there's at least 1 player to 3 they figure out where they are. If they can figure out the last 2 and isolate them, you can get them picks here.
It's also a shame just how despite the 2 vertical holes, they're all placed right around one of the players downstairs. I believe that's RexV, though. Now that Carnage is pinged to not RexV, but somebody directly next to him. It's a bit of a difficult spot. He'll finally, no more pings, able to start rotating off, and he does still have his pulse scanner for intel to relay, and I'm sure that even without that, they know that the push is coming from Laundry. One player who could have played close with that shotgun is now dislodged. Genesis is able to find the head of him. Karn, he's forced to rotate and move off the pulse scanner to try and counter this push from Outlast, but the bodies are falling too quickly. Because of the lost man count on the roam, now it's resulted in Omega being the last one alive. One player from the hole up top, that's Genesis, on 1 HP. So if Omega is able to land just even one lucky shot, he could come away with it. He will land a lucky shot, but it's a trade. In a 1v3, a trade means that Outlast, they take round number 1.
Well, what a round from Outlast. That was actually a pretty good roam clear from the side of Outlast. It was looking dicey because they were walking to Master where LiViD were expecting to push in. But it was a quick push. I'm not sure where Panic come from, but there was Panic and Genesis. I believe they pushed from that study side. They pushed quickly, and we didn't know. LiViD didn't know. So LiViD was focused on that Master push from the side of Outlast, and Panic and Genesis coming from the study side, pushing both Trophy and Statue at the same time, catch both those roamers off guard. Omega takes one back, making it a 4v3, but still 4v3 is difficult, especially all of that vertical pressure and having a Jackal to deny one of those 3 players from really moving. It leaves all of your plays isolated, allowing for Outlast to make the execute happen. They get those picks they need. Omega is now kind of in a dicey spot trying to push back on the site. Not much you can do in that situation when you have so much control with that vertical play. We go on to our next set. We go on to, Aviator games as expected, as you see from teams, and let's see what Outlast can bring out this time. What LiViD do to stop them?
Well, if we talk about what LiViD are bringing out, it's clear there's going to be a heavy focus, or there should, in theory, be a heavy focus on those main stairs. You have the Goyo, you have another deployable shield in the hands of both Karn and Xeno, and you also have that Tachanka as well. We'll likely see some presence over on the main stairs side of things, but a lot of this is built to deny over on that side. I say that, but it appears to be the exact opposite, in fact, at least for right now, from where they're setting up a lot of utility, some barricades, and some presence by Whitlock dedicated over to that Trophy Statuary side. So it's been a half and half, as now they are rotating over to that main stairs. But Outlast 6-pick to the Flores. 4 Terra drones can counter those 4 deployable shields, and they still have the Yana to take things down, and the Ashe as well to deal with this lineup. So for LiViD, they have a lot of utility to hold these positions, but Outlast, they have the utility to clear it as well.
We've seen this before. We've seen teams bring the Tachanka to the 9 main stairs. You can just bounce that grenade off the top wall, and teams can't push up those stairs, wasting as much time as possible. And I believe now he has, 14 grenades? So that's quite a bit of time. 5 times 4, 70 seconds you can deny from the side of the attack. And how they play it out is going to be interesting too. So are they going to still try and push these main stairs, knowing of how much denial is on the side of LiViD? Or if they, I don't know if they do know or not, actually. They may not know that there's a Tachanka way in them on top of the main stairs. They still may try to push this. There's also the vertical angles by Karn too, because Karn's playing inside of, inside of games. And that was actually a really good visual glitch.
It was a very visual. It was a visual glitch that was able to properly convey what LiViD are dealing with right now. The Terra drones coming in have not been dealt with at all by the defense. Not only did it take down the shield on top of Classical, but also the shield on main. And now a nade is dealt with Whitlock playing in that same position. Xeno downed as well. He was the final bastion that was there to deny even more time on main. And now Omega's left sort of by himself. Xeno's picked back up. He can continue using that Shamika launcher to lay fire on those bottom stairs. But now that RexV's fallen as well, Omega's friends in this situation are quickly falling, but so are the members of Outlast. A collateral for the Goyo, able to even things up 3-3. Now Panic moving on up, spots him for just a second. Him and Jewel able to catch him on the rotate back. Xeno, he was downed earlier, picked back up. He's the only player remaining off the site. He has this long angle down into books, and if we're talking about LiViD's lack of friends, he's Karn's only hope in trying to stave off the push on the site.
So far, they're trying to make this Aviator push happen, and Karn still has 2 smoke cancels, so he can still somewhat deny this push. There's 9 destructibles or 9 Shamika launcher grenades on the side of Xeno, but he probably didn't use those. He's kind of have to hold this classical hallway, but he can't hold it. He's not holding it. It allows for them to walk through and kill Karn. Xeno with 2 more. That's great shots to make it a 1v1, but Jewel has the sight, has the diffuser in hand. Plant's going down. Does Xeno have any kind of info to push us through? Jewel will get the plant down. Shamika launcher too late behind the bar, and now Jewel, the plant post-plant situations, has to push into the situation. Can he know where he is? He does see the head, and he finishes him off. Outlast, they'll take round 1 and round 2.
that could have very narrowly been one of the best clutches we've seen in all of CL. You were able to get those 2 kills over by Books, and Xeno, sure, he has low HP, but not only is he in the perfect spot, but he is the perfect operator to deny the plant. But he realizes it just a little bit too late. A second left on the bomb. That's when Xeno pulls out the flame launcher, launches it over behind the bar. That is exactly where Jewel was planting. But again, it came 8 seconds too late. You fire that over, you're able to push him off, and maybe he tries to stick it. If he does, he's going to lose a lot of HP. If not, he quickly rotates off, and that's when you can strike. But again, for Xeno, it was the right idea, just a couple seconds too late. Still an admirable attempt, and around that was a lot closer thanks to his efforts.
Oh, him and Omega in the double kill on
True,
main
Omega
stairs.
as well.
Omega had a great double on main stairs, and really, that was what kept him in the round more than anything, was that Omega main stairs, because otherwise, Outlast from below were dealing damage to every single operator inside LiViD side for those grenades, ash charges, everything from below. So without those 2 main stairs pushes from Omega, that could have been a different round, but still, great. It was such a close round from LiViD, such a close round from them to bring that back from Xeno and Omega. So we'll go on to Trophy and Statuary, a 3rd try for LiViD. They're trying all the sites, trying to find a straw to grasp. And they're going on to the next bomb site and try it out once more. And this seems to be a very similar setup, too, from the side of LiViD, operator-wise.
Yeah, rocking with the same op lineup overall. Some changes. Omega moving over to the castle. Rexv moving over to the Jaegers. So, again, some changes, but Rexv, he's still sitting and chilling with that projectile denial. Omega, sure, maybe a different operator than last time, but still relying a lot on denying time or burning utility with that castle barricade. But Outlast, they, again, have a lineup that's able to deal with it. They move back to the Jackal, so they don't have those Rotero drones, but it's a lineup where they might be missing a little bit, but they still have those ash charges. They still have the Gone 6 and those nades. They have plenty of utility at their disposal to try to deal with it. Not as much as you potentially might be able to have, but still enough where they're not going to be hurting too much. That is, of course, unless LiViD try to get a little bit aggressive. They're able to take down one op, then rotate back. They're basing a lot on this Rexv closet hold right now, who so far hasn't faced much pressure, but that might change as they start to move below the site.
Oh yeah, Genesis below using the skeleton key to try and deal with any players in Statuary, and you really can't deal from below the person inside of closet, but if you get a grenade in there, he is Jaeger though, so he has his ADSs to his name to deny any grenades, but of course the ADSs aren't as powerful as they used to be, so you could easily burn them out and then grenade Rexv out of that position. Karn though playing with him with that, that Vulcan shield as well too. So there's multiple angles here, and trying to shoot through that drone hole, trying to find an angle on him. So whether or not they can coordinate a push here and deal with this play is going to be an interesting test from Outlast's side. They can actually coordinate this push.
Well, it's been a minute 30 so far, and they have that pressure down below. And finally, they will try to make that push come through, but Karn spots the arm of Nomad outside of the master bedroom window. He'll rotate off, no damage exchanged either way, but it does mean that Rexv's still alive in this position. And in fact, he even has the M870, a gun that maybe pales in comparison to the 416, but for this one specific situation, could be Rexv's best friend. Alongside Karn, playing behind the shield, a crossfire setup, able to take down those Hibana pellets, and Rexv survives for just a couple seconds longer. 2 minutes wasted alone on this hold inside a master bedroom, and Outlast, they simply do not have an answer for it yet.
The coordination just isn't there. Outlast aren't able to deal with Rexv. He brought M870 for this specific scenario. Great job from LiViD just to waste so much time. And what is Outlast's response now? They haven't taken control of master bedroom. This whole entire side is such a key point for so many attacks, and they have no control of it whatsoever going into the dying seconds, last 30 seconds of the round. It has to be a straight push through into Statuary. But members like Omega are ready for it. The members like Karn in 2 positions, everybody's gonna start pushing up, and Xeno still has quite a few of those fires. Shumika launcher too. Shots come through. Karn gets the first pick in the panic. Rexv with a great shot. Shotguns Genesis elsewhere. Another one to Rexv. Omega's pre-firing the doorway. Nobody gets to kill his own, but Whitlock there is ready, and Karn finishes them off, and LiViD will take their first defense.
Well, from there, it's clear that Outlast, if you weren't able to tell by the 2 minutes they spent over in that location, they really wanted to clear Rexv out of closet. But one important thing we did not realize, or we did not mention, at least, both of Nomad's frag grenades, they got caught. He had none of them left. He burned the Aruni Gate. They were able to destroy some of the more direct projectile denial in their face. But when it came to actually burning those ADSs or sending those nades on in, they were either caught or unsuccessful. But yet, Outlast persisted. They tried to clear Rexavy out from that position. But now, in part because they are sticking with that buck, you don't have the nades of the sledge. To be fair, I mean, you're not going to do much vertical with sledge, but hey, at least you have a set of nades. There's nothing really else they can do to clear them out. They're not bringing the Zofia, so they don't have concussions to try to make it somewhat more difficult. Overall, it was just Outlast. They were stuck on this hold, and they really wanted to clear them out, but once they lost that early utility, they just kept trying, and they were just bashing their head against the wall by the end.
Bashing the wall against the head, or bashing head against the wall, bashing the wall against the head. But they could, yeah, in the end, they couldn't make anything happen. Unlike, look, they didn't have the coordination to deal with Rexavy, and they didn't have the operator choices to be, you know, have a supply, a surplus of utilities to really throw at Rexavy. Like you said before, they only had one set of grenades. On Nomad, they didn't bring a Zofia, they didn't bring a Capital, they had no other way of dealing with them. Rexavy stayed in there long, and he got 2 kills on a shotgun later in the round too at the dying seconds. So great job from LiViD. You go back to kitchen and dining for our next site, and last time it was that roam clear, having Genesis and Panic pushing from the side while the members of the defense thought that it was a full push from Master side. We're not ready for Panic and Genesis flanking through from that south to north take, but so far it looks like they're going for a horizontal take whatsoever. There's no vertical pressure so far, and using Nomad as a general replicator, they are looking around, checking living in library, making sure nobody's there. But Karn, again, he's on this pulse. That cardiac sensor can sense if they're going for a horizontal take.
And that's sort of the issue. Once the intel's relayed, and if Karn is able to spot that they are going for a horizontal take, as at no cost to himself, he can gain that intel the moment Outlast move in the range of that heartbeat scanner. The members of LiViD can say, hey, we just need to take these vertical angles we're able to set up. If they're already set up, just move to that spot. If they're not set up, Whitlock has the bailiff to just open one up for free, and Outlast aren't there yet to capitalize. They have some intel up top. They know that there's players playing inside a trophy statuary. A drone caught that earlier. But still a solid setup from LiViD that Outlast don't have a direct counter to just yet. But if they're able to flood the site in time, as there's only one player actually directly there, it could be enough. LiViD, they have players in prime spots to rotate back down, but if Outlast, they're able to move quick enough, you only have 1 or 2 players they need to find.
Oh, Xeno's in a great place to go for a flank. Genesis gets a kill, but Genesis could get killed out here. Great job from Xeno. They got that ping earlier when Genesis shot that Prisma. And Omega, though, the upside down repel from Athena will not be read or not be expected. Karn does see a drone here on Ledger's side, but so far as a horizontal take, once again, a Panic just runs into sight, taken out by Karn. Karn's by himself. Xeno's got to play with him, try and get a flank off to deny this push into Moriel. He sees one jumping in a bike, takes out Athena. Xeno goes down, takes one. Karn gets another. It's down to a 2v1. It's Nomad against these two. Nomad's in sight, or close to sight. Karn can be the first pick, but Xeno's in a place to refrag, shoots the Prisma, allowing for Karn to throw the C4 and then kill him out and take another round. LiViD tie it up 2-2.
So up until the last 15 seconds of that round, that was a really solid take by Outlast. They realized, okay, there's 1 or 2 players on the site. We need to go in. We need to try to take this fast. Xeno's able to go on the flank and take down Genesis. Excellent play by him. Excellent rotation. But Outlast, they're still trending a little bit ahead. Athena was able to find that kill. That's one roamer up top in a key angle and a key position and a key player who could have rotated back down. And that's where we start spinning out of control. Because Outlast, they had that intel on the site. They had the intel at that moment in time to push on in. But the moment that happened, the intel stopped. It didn't seem like they had that intel anymore. You had somebody peeking out from Laundry. I believe that was Karn on the pulse, who just peeks out, takes one on the entry into the site. Okay, whatever, you lose body. But then you have somebody vault in a library. Well, they have no idea that there's a player top brown. He's looking the complete wrong way. Now he falls. Outlast had great intel to flood the site, but the moment their push was stopped, it didn't seem that they had the intel after that to react and actually try to adapt to what LiViD were going for.
Very true. But Xeno probably completely read the entire round, playing that basement roll in.
Probably.
That's kind of a big thing, is having drones to read that basement roam is a big one. The team's playing in Villa. So, back to Aviator Games we go to, and last time it was kind of that big thing. That was the round that was close. It was a 1v1 at the end, but again, that vertical pressure from Outlast is what gave them the advantage in the first place. Omega and Xeno tried their best to bring this back, and it was a 1v1 at the end, but unfortunately could not make it happen.
Now we're moving on to here. This was another site that, again, as you said, came down to that 1v1. But some adjustments. No more Tachanka, which makes me sad. I liked seeing not only Tachanka more in general, but I like seeing LiViD bring out that Tachanka purely because he's new, and I like seeing what teams do with them, though it wasn't anything crazy. They have moved Xeno to that Mute, who does not have a C4, by the way. He's bringing that Bulletproof. I don't actually think I've seen a Mute not run a C4 in a long time. I get why, but still, it's a C4.
True, but hey, having the intel is important, especially for the classical books.
Also
true. Books classical is important.
Common BP position is checking out over in the classical books. Not the same common position. Omega is playing extremely aggressively inside of 90. Behind that Goyo shield, just sitting right there, quickly spotted by Nomad, who will spot up and take down that Yana clone. We don't see somebody not only get that aggressive inside of 90, but hold in a 90 that exact same way. But it's likely because Whitlock, who's playing on red stairs, is there to help him. But now that Xeno's fallen, while this 90 control is still clear, Panic able to find headway and take down Whitlock's support downstairs makes this position a lot more difficult to hold.
Oh, Omega with a great shot in the Nomad, making it more difficult to push. There's a crossfire from 90 and from Red. Red is the big one they gotta deal with, but is the person to refrag? No, nobody can refrag. Whitlock takes one. Panic's gonna refrag. Rexv, though, is able to take out Genesis. So it's going back and forth, and still this crossfire, this 90 control in Red, you know, hold they had was so big for LiViD. Not only was a time waster, but it also was just taking out members left and right. At this point, what is a job here for? What does Outlast have at this point? Omega takes a lot of damage. She's going to back off for the moment, and now we're down to the last minute. Panic and Joels don't have much utility to them, but we'll see what they can make with that last-ditch effort, as now these members of LiViD can really hang out in these back areas and wait for the push.
Rexby will use his final impact grenade to make a rotate into study. Smart decision, considering Outlast no longer have the manpower to really actively truly contest that side of the map. Might as well open up a more active hole, not restrict yourself to going through doorways, so you can use this southern side of the map a bit more to your advantage. 40 seconds left. Outlast do still have time to rotate if they want, and in fact, they will rotate over to that study side. Omega's on low HP, and right now Rexby is the only player actually inside the study, and he's aided by Omega, who is holding books, but again, is 1 HP. If he's found, he could be the little piece of the puzzle that Outlast need to start moving on into the site. But they're playing catch-up. There's still a player playing behind a shield. There's toxic canisters choking the little bit of time left for Outlast to find something in this round. In fact, it puts Jewel down to 1 HP, and now he's the only one left. Panic taken off the board. Omega could just land that free fire. A triple for Omega overall, and I think in that round as a whole, Omega was definitely the saving grace in the early and the late round.
Yeah, Omega landing shots not only in 90, but inside that classical hallway too. And I would say as a whole, that first round, first of all, that 90 in red stairs hold, that crossfire made it so difficult for Outlast to make their push through into Skull or into 90 in general. And they lost members on that red stairs take two. They at least were able to get that refrag, but Omega still was able to get kills on people pushing out of that, you know, that board double door. And then on top of that, even when they tried to go for that rotation in the late round, in a 2v3 at that point, the members on the side of LiViD still understood what's going on. They still able to position themselves perfectly, waiting for that push from the side. Omega playing that shield inside of Classical the other way around perfectly. And people, even people like Xeno, who weren't even in the fight, was still able to push on out. Or I think it was Xeno or somebody else, or Rexby or somebody was waiting for a position inside of Skull too, waiting for the push to the maps and get that plant down. If it was going to happen, even. It didn't.
But that still demonstrates how far Outlast have come. The fact that one single gunfight or one single kill could have been the difference between them being up 3-2 or LiViD being up 3-2. This was a team that, remember, first week they got 7-0'd by KCP. Second week they had a bit more of a convincing fight against late registration, or actually, no, yeah, that was the second week. Excuse me. But I couldn't remember. I was fuzzy with it. But it still was a team that they started off extremely rough. But the fact that they've still come this far, where we're talking about one single gunfight making the difference between Outlast taking the lead against LiViD, a team that, while they've been underperforming, a team that we hyped up to be one of the powerhouses of Group B, and in the past week looks to be trying to achieve that destiny that we gave them. It's solid for them. But again, enough of that. Final round. Moving to LiViD's defenses, Trophy Statuary is the final site. This was a site that Outlast, they got stuck on that closet hold, and thankfully for them, LiViD aren't going for it again.
So far, it looks like Outlast are going downstairs. They're looking to try and take control of bottom of dining and kitchen and try and use the grenades to deal with any shields from below. Genesis looking left and right, trying to at least dry peek, because I don't know what intel Outlast has. It seems like there's not a lot of intel, because, you know, he's looking up at these holes, not knowing who's inside a master bedroom. And so at least they take control of dining for the moment. And that first grenade, not sure what it was for, but maybe they used a second grenade, that last grenade, in their hands to deal with some of these, these shields upstairs, and Astro will be the first pick. So yeah, it looks like they're using those drones, figuring out where these shields are at, where these mute jammers are at, so they can get this wall open. Be the first step for Outlast. Otherwise, what else can they really do here? Those Rotero drones also can probably help out too.
Well, thankfully they've taken down the Goyo, but completely separate from those Rotero drones. The Genesis, I think that means he blew up Omega with his own Goyo shield. I believe that's what that means. So, playing a bit too close to the sun, playing with fire, whatever metaphor or reference analogy you want, Omega did it, and he did not come away successfully. And now Outlast, they've seemed to taken this bit of early momentum in stride, and they're starting to put themselves in a position to move on up. Atheno down below, holding that first floor. Genesis looking to make his way up Astro stairs if the player inside a bathroom, his teammate, is willing. He also, for just a second, spots the head of Rexby. The wall is soft. If he just fired once, one single bullet would mean the death of him. He'll finally pull the trigger, and Rexby will be wishing he never did.
Oh, that was a great shot. And C4 goes over. Zeno on the flank once more. Zeno could be the playmaker here to stop this push, because this is a full Astro take, but it doesn't matter. Whitlock and Karn on site. Deal with them. Panic, at least refrags. But Zeno's coming for Astro stairs. Is someone watching inside a bathroom? No, nobody's watching. What? Zeno gets 2. Panic with his own, but he's now the last one on site. It's a 1v1 between Zeno and Panic, but no info is in regard. There's probably no drones in his position to see where Zeno is. The diffuser is there, and he's actually going to shoot the... Why would you shoot that? But all right. Well, actually, it gives a sound, actually, so it just walks through. There'll be a sound that Panic will hear. So Panic at least will hear him walk through that bathroom door. That's actually pretty good, interesting play, actually. Panic will start to get the plant down. Zeno, does he have the info to know this? But the plant actually will fully go down. Zeno's pre-firing, knowing he's inside a trophy, but no further intel, no exact intel for Zeno to play off of.
He'll continue creeping around. Oh, but Panic spots him, tags him in the shoulder, puts him on just a little above 50 HP. It's cat and mouse right now, both peeking around. Panic able to come away with it. Again, another nail-biter, almost clutch for Zeno. A second double kill to make it a 1v1. But just like before, not enough to pull it out in the end. But Benny, how the hell did we even get there?
Dude,
we
Zeno
saw the guy
flank.
bathroom. We saw the guy bathroom. What?
I asked that exact question. Is he holding the angle from bathroom? No.
I literally don't even know, because he swung it. He just... I'm stunned right now.
That was a pretty good round from Outlast either way.
It's the craziest timing.
Besides that, Outlast had a great intel. They're able to
destroy
the shields from below. They're able to clear out Astro using that vertical pressure, using the grenades, using those genre replicators, and the intel they had. There were Terror drones too, and they took control of Astro. Panic was in sight, and that's kind of the reason why they got the round in the first place, is because they took full control. Astro dealt with the players in trophy. Panic could walk in, and that's where, it was almost a really good round, except for Zeno flanking, and there was no flank cams, there was no intel for him to play off of. The person in the bathroom stopped watching that Astro flank, and Zeno almost had that round, but unfortunately, once again, Zeno let the player of Panic, or I think it was last time, it was Jules who got that plant down the first time, but they let those players get the plant down, put in a 1v1 post plan. At that point, Zeno's now trying to aggress onto a player with no intel.
Zeno, the fact that he made it that far is still commendable, so we will give him that. To put an end on that half, Zeno, you tried your best, and we appreciate that. But now, we're moving to Outlast defensive half, and they're starting out with trophy statuary. Also, one thing I realized, a lot of, especially for Villa, a lot of operators that are very stable, It's not just of a Villa lineup in general. I was going to say one of those being a Sledge, but he's now dead, so unlucky. But we didn't see a lot of Zofia from the side of Outlast. Didn't see a lot of Nomad from the side of Outlast either. But we are also seeing a Flores from LiViD. Outlast seem to prefer that in some situations on their attacking lineup as well. And hey, now they don't have to worry about the only set of nades on the side of LiViD either.
Yeah, that's that. Again, both these teams only seen one set of grenades. It was Nomad on the Yana. This time it's Rexby on the Sledge, are their only set of grenades. But they still have a Terror drone. There's still some set of explosives. So Whitlock, Zeno, and Flores. So there's still things they can use, and the first step is me, driving out Panic here, playing by himself. Can he get out alive though is the question. Sees one drone destroyed finally. They probably didn't understand he's in aviate from it or games, and yeah, more droning from Karn. So how long can he waste here, and can he at least get this kill to refrag and keep it even? whether or not, because so far otherwise they're just wasting more Kairos, and the Rotero drone is trying to figure where he is. Did he see within there? I don't know if he did.
I don't think he did, but either way, I was going to say this roam clear has been successful, but little did I know, and little did Whitlock know as well, there was one player still playing aggressively inside of 90. That was Genesis. He's taken down one of the other entry on LiViD, or one of the first people in the building, and now LiViD, minute 40 seconds in, they've got this Aviator Games control, and they're able to push in from 90, but it's a 3v5, and they don't have a lot of manpower to do the second part of any trophy statuary attack if you're clearing from the south to north side. They'll rotate over to master bedroom and the contestant over in master bedroom. And now when you're one player down more, a 2v5, Panic still in the win. Hey, Xeno's got one kill onto Genesis, but it seems to be a lot on the shoulders of just a few players. But maybe they're just strong enough to handle it. Now a 1v2 brought back from much more dire straits by Xeno and Omega. He's now at a 1v2. Panic coming from the flank. There's hard pings on Xeno's position, but all it does is tag a little bit of his HP down. He's able to find Atheno on the swing. This could be the lead for LiViD if he's able to make it work. Xeno, he's been in 3 1v1s so far. 2 of them have not been successful. This is the time for the third, but no, he's 0 for 3. Another heartbreaker for Xeno, and another lost round for LiViD.
Xeno again and again. He's driving it to the edge, but can't jump the fence every single time. Oh my God. How many kills did he have that game? I think around he had 3 kills for his team. He almost brought it back. Like, yeah, that was a triple kill. He had a triple kill that round. He almost brought it back for a 3rd time. A 3rd time. Oh my God. All right, let's start from the beginning though. Rexavy. Not Rexavy. Yeah, Rexavy goes down to, I think it was Panic on the roam. Panic as the Vigil on the roam inside of Classical. Again, this Intel game is huge, and you know, your Vigil Intel game is difficult against a Vigil, but unfortunately, you know, there wasn't someone to at least refrag Rexavy in that situation, unfortunately. So they get that first pick, and then they take a bit of time. They finally drive out Panic from Aviator Games, just to find that Genesis is playing 90 still. Lose another man. You're in a 3v2. Or 3v5, I mean. 3v5 at that point. Karn goes to rotate 2 over 2 Master Bedroom, like you said, because they have to make it a 2-form attack. They can't just make it a trophy statuary push in from that south of the side. But Karn gets taken out by Panic once again, too, and Panic's just on a tear at that point. You're in a 2v5. And Xeno goes off. And I think Omega was him. Omega and Xeno go off in those dying seconds, making it a 1v1. Well, yeah, making 1v1 was crazy.
And again, just, you gotta feel for Xeno. You gotta feel for him. Him and sometimes somebody else, sometimes only him, have brought it back almost 3 times now. And it's still not enough. Think about this. If 3 1v1s go LiViD's way, go Xeno's way, they're on match point right now.
Yeah, it's a much different story.
It's 6-1.
It's just so that every single time we're in a situation, it's always Xeno without the intel. And the other side of the coin has the intel they need to make the round work. Every single time. Unfortunate. It is such a sad story for Xeno this entire game so far. But when we go to our next defense, we're going to kitchen and dining over in that bottom floor, that first floor for Outlast, and we'll see how LiViD can roam clear. And what exactly are they going to roam clear? Are they going to horizontally clear instead? Because so far we've seen Outlast is some pretty good roam clears. LiViD on the roam clear last round was not the best though. Took too much time. They lost members on it. So I'm really interested to see if LiViD try to go for roam clear once again, if they're going to try and bypass it and push on the site.
Well, they do have that inclusion of the sledge in their lineup. So not only do you have a second set of nades, thankfully, you also do have a player who can go for that vert. And it looks like there actually might be going for a horizontal clear. There's still plenty of time for things to change, but a lot of players spawning on that southern side over by Aviator Games. There's time. They could rotate up, and they could just be going for a very extensive full clear of the map. But based on where the drones are going and where the players are going, despite the sledge, it looks like they are taking this from main stairs over to library, down through that first floor. Still with players who could rotate back up. They have the utility to go for a top-down clear. But it's pretty obvious at this point, based on where they're setting up. They are trying to just take this more laterally.
It seems to be lateral. It seems to be some players looking for picks, though. And Nomad this time is the one on the pulse. pulsing out, using that cardiac sensor, see where these players are at. And pre-fires came out from Rexavi, so they know at least 1 or 2 players are playing by his pantry side. So it definitely looks like LiViD are trying to figure out what they can do here. They're looking for any picks, looking for an exploit they can go through. Because otherwise, those players on the other side, 3 other players are just horizontally pushing through it. Oh, pre-fires tries to see the head of Nomad running through, but he can't find the pick, unfortunately. And yeah, there are players in Bicycle, so this seems to be purely a horizontal take. But though it is twofold, at least there's 2 angles they're pushing from. It's not a full push. And how does Outlast going to respond to this? Because they still have players upstairs, and can they respond appropriately to deny this push? And there's the angle from above. Can't make the shots though. Zeno gets a kill of his own. Rexavi goes down, and finally strikes back, and so does Panic, making a 3v3.
Now 3v2 thanks to Genesis. Got a bit shaky for Atheno on that vertical play, and now it's getting a bit shaky for Outlast. Overall, a 2v2, a successful entry by LiViD onto the site that went out of their hands for just half a second and then finally brought back to another 2v2. You don't have Zeno here anymore, but you do have the man advantage, and you have the round as well. A lost one by Zeno, but now another even 4-4. LiViD, they're not out of this quite yet.
Oh, trying to work those vertical angles. Unfortunate for Outlast, they couldn't. You can't really look straight down in Siege, which is such a pain in the butt, but now, I would say big thing there was the fact that I think it was Atheno above who watched them walk into China and could not deny it until it was way too late, until Whitlock, or until Rexavi and Zeno had made their entry, allowing for Whitlock and other players to start making their way into sight and take control. Sure, they denied the plant when it came to the end of it, but those players at that point, when it came to Whitlock and Omega, they knew where those players were at. They knew they were above them playing those vertical angles, so they just pre-fired it, took both of them out. So a great job on LiViD, take one back, tie it up. We go on to our next defense from Outlast, and yeah, it just seemed like they were playing the vertical, but yeah, just Atheno, that could have been a different situation if just got those picks on coming to China.
So far a game that it always seems one small moment we can look at and say that is when the round either went one way, or that is the potential reality that the round goes another way. But it's still a 4-4. It's another testament to how close this game has been between Outlast and LiViD so far, and how strong LiViD still look in this game overall. Outlast rotate off of Kitchen, which wasn't a bad setup overall. They played their crossfires really well, played their angles really well. Now they rotate over to Aviator Games. It's a solid setup. You can't really complain. They got all their basics. You got your shields, you got your C4s, your mute jammers, your projectile denial. You got pretty much everything you want from a defense from Outlast. And as they've shown so far, they're never running anything too crazy, but it's about that individual play, whether it's Panic, Genesis, holding down an angle, and right now, it appears that Genesis, he's going to be the main one, trying to gain some intel over on Trophy Statuary, and, well, as I say that, Panic as well, just chilling in the basement, roaming around.
Oh, it looks like they've full reinforced that tri-wall inside of between bedroom and statuary, but it looks like the only person really playing is going to be Genesis on his own. At least there's some down below is Panic to try and help him out, but if they play aggressively fast enough, they could deal with Genesis really quickly on the side. They've already drawn him out. Pre-fires come out. No, he's going to have to bail. He's leaving because he doesn't want to get pre-fired, and no, there's someone to cut him off. It's Zeno, but both sides, he was waiting for it. He expected the cutoff, and Genesis was able to thwart it and walk away. Panic is the next playmaker here to try and get a flank off. Try and deal some damage and stop LiViD from taking control too quickly, cause some stability, cause some chaos for them.
Well, for right now, nobody from LiViD is over on the bottom of main stairs, so nobody can cut off Genesis's rotation back to site, and there is still one person pressing their luck, and in fact, there's actually 2 people pressing their luck on this side. Panic still wanting to make an impact on this round a bit more early on than maybe his team would be wanting, but him and Genesis are still trying to make this roam work. Overall, Genesis not rotating back just yet. It does mean LiViD, they'll have to be a bit more cognizant watching these flanks. Genesis could just walk up red, get a cheeky kill, and rotate back down. Panic could get a C4 from below, and right now he's got a pre-placed, but it's not really by anybody on the side of LiViD. It could find one, but at least based on the positioning, his efforts should best be concentrated more to the side because LiViD, they're knocking at Outlast's door.
They are going quickly, and they're already pushing for that study side. This twofold attack is going quick for LiViD, and those roamers on the side of Outlast are lagging behind the timetable that LiViD has in place. Destroying that Melusi, that Banshee inside of study should allow them to push through, and there's actually drones ready and waiting. They have the intel knowing that Panic's behind them. If they leave someone behind, they have the air jabs too. They could make this push happen, push straight forward for the anchors, make this create this execute before they even can make that flank happen, and deny them from making that push in the first place. Omega pushes in, goes for the plant. Is there a C4 ready? Grenade is a great place to push Atheno off, so he can't get that C4 off. Below though is Jewel. Jewel is putting a great, but he can't C4. Does finally stop the plant, and now making a 4v5 with 30 seconds. Genesis with another zone coming through to stop that push into sight. Dino's ready for it. Doesn't see him as well. He gets taken out by Whitlock. A downside of Vault. Can the flank happen still? Here comes the flank. Panic. He downs one. Kills both. And now it's out to Zeno to 1v2. Once again, Zeno has to try and clean up for his team. And so far, 20 seconds and Diffuser down. Where is Jewel in the situation? Both players from Outlast are situated, are isolated. So Zeno could make this happen. He gets both kills. It's Jewel and Zeno in a 1v1. Zeno going for the plant. Zeno might be in the better position this time. He can pick that plant down. Jewel coming back. He's got a shotgun in hand. Zeno gets out the plant. He knows he turns around. No, Jewel!
What? What? You
hey,
can't tell.
Zeno,
You can't.
Zeno won his first one. Zeno clutched for his team finally.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was just... I'm glad Zeno got his first 1v1. I'm glad he was finally able to clutch that out, but...
That was a 1vx, actually.
Yes, I know, Benny, but it came down to a 1v1. Thank you. No, what is that? Is that 3 times now that Zeno has gotten a double to proceed a 1v1?
I think it's 3 or 4.
I think it's the 3rd time that's happened because the other one in Trophy Statuary that was him and Omega.
Yeah, that was a 1v1 actually. Yeah, that was a straight.
Oh wait, no, because that was still a double because Omega got one kill on the entry, then Zeno did.
Wait, no, was that no? But what the round with the Statuary Trophy? No, not Statuary. Aviator Games as Tachanka. Was that a 1vx?
Well, I mean, it didn't work, but he got the 2 players over by books, and then he failed to.
Oh yeah, he was playing. Yeah, he was playing. Yeah, so I think every single round has been a 1vx. He's tried to make happen.
Either way. Moving to the point at hand, another 1vx. Zeno is able to do the Lord's work inside of the site, and then Jewel, unfortunately, he's like, okay, I can either push him from the door or I can push him from the breach. I'll sprint at the breach and rotate that way. Well, the bomb went down, and Zeno rotated off and pre-fired him because there is a mute sprinting away from you. It's the easiest pre-fire of your life. It was still overall a solid setup by Outlast and another extremely well-played flank by Panic. Playing that Astro Stairs perfectly. Early enough, just able to cause some concern for LiViD, then able to push back up later on. But again, I feel like so many times, so many rounds have come down to those 1v1s, and it's usually one team getting the leg up over the other, but that was Outlast, I think, defeating themselves a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know how how Zeno got those other 2 kills though, but yeah, that kind of put Jules in an unfortunate situation. But unfortunately, it's still Zeno again doing the Lord's work. He's been quite the maniac this game. And he could have won him this entire game at this point already. It's unfortunate, but we'll go on to our next defense for the side of Outlast. We'll go to Trophy and Statuary, and so far the team's looking to push downstairs, create some vertical pressure, deal with any utility from below, and also from Master Bedroom to open up that wall. Whitlock has taken control of Dining Kitchen with another member of his team, and of course they're opening up this wall. But it looks like there's an impact tricking going on. One impact gone out, trying to deal with someone's X-Kairos, but again the X-Kairos can go to the bottom of the wall, so you can't really impact trick those.
Get out, unfortunately. They do, for the attack at least, they still have these Rotero drones that can continue destroying the intel, or not the intel, whatever utility Outlast have brought out. Also some downstairs pressure to see if anybody rotates back into Astro. There's one player currently sitting behind the desk, so they have his cutoff in a way from down below if the angle is favorable, though it looks like it's not. He's able to rotate back in the site. That's Atheno, who's still able to hold this long angle outside of the breach as well, if he's so running. But Outlast, they're doing what they do best. They're moving players down below to try to counter the pressure. One is killed in front of Panic, and he just sees the other move up Astro. He's not able to secure the kill. That means they can now flood on through. Sure, Zeno's on low HP, but Panic's not able to stop them. Neither Atheno either. A C4 finally goes out. It gets Whitlock, but long after LiViD's or Outlast moment to shine was there. It's now all on Panic to make this work. 1 HP. A player prone on the floor. He now gets up, swings out, and Karn secures match point for LiViD.
Oh, what a round for LiViD. A great just attacking round, taking control of bottom floor, making sure they can make both bottom floor and the master room happen at the same time. Oh, well, going for that. And yeah, now Outlast taking their time out to figure out what's going on, because yeah, that was a great round from LiViD. And again, these flanks from Panic have been really the reason why these rounds have been so close in the first place. And it was a double flank from 2 players on the side of Outlast, and one dies immediately, giving it away, and Panic fires back, trying to get that refrag, but only hitting the side of the Flores, not able to get that kill, which alerts them to the flank, which Whitlock goes, hey, we're getting flanked this point, we gotta go right now, we gotta go right now.
Yeah, again, excellent call by LiViD overall. Unfortunate timing for Panic down below, but still overall for LiViD, it was clear that their clear was relatively unimpeded. They're able to get a lot of what they wanted, and the moment that flank came out, it was like, okay, we're just going to send it now. Now it's on match point. Outlast, they're taking this timeout. They have time to regroup, but for this 6-4, with how close these rounds have been for LiViD, I certainly believe that Outlast have the potential to pull this out, but LiViD, there's already a there was a world that was very likely to happen where LiViD have already won this game. They're coming down to multiple 1v1s. They've been in positions where it is pretty winnable. And now it actually seems that LiViD are getting their stuff under control. They've taken that timeout, and now they've actually managed to figure out their game plan. And for Outlast, hey, maybe the same thing will happen after this timeout, and they take 2 rounds in a row. But LiViD, at least right now, they seem to have a little bit more of their game plan together than Outlast do. They seem to regress a little bit.
Yeah, LiViD at this point are figuring out their plans. They're working together, coordinating as a team, and making these things happen. And I guess I said before, the calls on point to be decisive and make those plays happen is what LiViD get in these rounds. Especially too, like I kind of said before, but like a lot of these rounds sometimes come to those flanks from Outlast that give them these close rounds. Like Panic making these flanks, Genesis making these flanks on these defense halves really gives them the edge. But then there's the times when they get that edge and then they get taken out immediately. They throw it away. Not only throw it away, but it's Zeno or somebody from the side of LiViD that takes it back and makes it so even. So it's hard to say. We go on to, kitchen and dining once more, which last time we had that twofold play, and it was, there's that kind of vertical play that was could have been the round, could have given Outlast that round, denied them pushing in, but little mistakes here and there, little times where they missed opportunities to deny that push, allowed LiViD to take control of the site.
Now this is where Outlast have to make things work. They have to stake their claim. We mentioned this earlier. They were a team where nobody had any confidence in them going into this stage, and the confidence, whatever amount there was, quickly dwindled after weeks 1 and 2. But now they're 2 and 2. This is their game to go positive, something not many people thought could happen. Genesis, he'll also defy the odds, somehow win that gunfight against Zeno, the clutch minister in this game so far, or at least the one that always finds himself in that position. Outlast's big problem so far has been losing that early round, not only in CL, but in the latter half of their defenses. Now they're in a 3v5. That timeout might have worked the wonders they needed.
Whoa, what an early start. Genesis, it was the cutoff you needed. The Flores of Zeno was there. Vexy gets a kill on it. Genesis finishes him off. And the news another player was on red. It was the the Malusi of Theno, but Theno's backed off already, so red stairs is now clear. But still, what a start from Outlast to give them the edge. And once more, I say it again and again, they sometimes get this edge, and there are times where LiViD is still able to make the way back. People like Zeno and Omega are able to claw the way back, and give them a man advantage, or at least even out the advantage. So we go back here to the last, we're on 1:30, and there's still time for LiViD to make that vertical play happen. So this could still easily be a LiViD round if they can make this vertical pressure happen.
On top of that, all it took for LiViD's entry last time, Outlast had what they what they needed at their disposal, being a key angle held by Athena up top, and it just took one slightly missed position by Athena, and LiViD were able to make the entry work. Sure, LiViD, they're a bit more strapped for manpower, but with it even 3-3 as well, just one thing was enough for LiViD to make the entry last time, and despite Outlast opening pressure and opening impact early on in the round, they're now in a spot where, as you said, they still have what they needed at their disposal to make this work, and now even more so than the 20 seconds ago when you said that, Benny. Jewel has this position, but Karn's got the coverage. That could have been the kill that sent them 6-5, but now it could be the kill that gives LiViD their second win of Challenger League. Nomad and Athena will coalesce. They know the push is coming from Laundry. They have 2 players in a spot to watch the push on in. It's on Rexby to try and dislodge one of them, or one player in Laundry, either Karn or Omega, to win their gunfight as they move in the site. 25 seconds left. Athena falls. It's Rexby going huge up top. There's Nomad. He finds one. The Karn was the only one in there. Omega, he has the diffuser. There's the sound cue as well. He's not looking the right way, but Rexby has the entry as well. A 7-4 for LiViD. A great shot by Outlast, but thrown away in the end. A 3v5 for LiViD to win it out.